Good morning, guys. Welcome to Facebook Live, March 5th. Today we're going to have Mike Fisk going over some great information with you today. I'm Tim Douglas, and with that said, I'm going to let Mike go ahead and take over.
Well, Tim is not as good at the intro as Riley is. If you're driving, we ask that you please, turn off Facebook Live. We'll be recording this and everything, or pull over if you can. If you have questions. Please send in questions. It's the interactivity part of this is the fun part. I'm going to try to log in here on my computer here so I can follow along with any comments and questions as well. Okay, so I will say that the one thing about I don't mind doing the Facebook Lives. I'm not as good at it as like John Wilbur is, and we're gonna get John doing it again. But I was looking through some of our old Facebook Lives, to see what we had talked about before and everything, and you just notice how fat you are, whenever in front of camera, there. So anyway, bear with us. We appreciate your participation. And as we have drivers and everybody coming in, welcome. And we're excited to have you. Like I said, go ahead and send in some questions. Today I'm just I've got a couple of quick announcement type things I want to go through, and then I'm going to show you some results of our driver surveys, that we have as well, and talk about that briefly. For owner operators in particular, our company drivers each year, on their anniversary, we send them a survey. That we ask them to just give us better information. We need to do a better job of getting that information from owner operators as well. We're working on a process for that as well. But just wanted to share with you some of the results, on that. So anyway, okay. So welcome to Facebook Live. The first thing that's everyone's seen in the news, and I think coronavirus. Okay, I don't know how much of a panic that I should be in on it, right? But it is certainly something that we need to pay attention to, and be aware of. Okay, it's I have two brothers that are in healthcare, and I've talked to them and said, hey, how serious is coronavirus? Well, it's more serious than the flu, but is it as dangerous as sometimes we read about? It's hard to know, but protect yourself, protect your community, your co-workers, etc. Our human resources sent out some information about coronavirus, prevention, type of thing, and kind of the consensus is if you're sick, self-isolate, make sure that you're not patient zero and spreading these kind of things. And then obviously common sense goes a long ways as well. So, but anyway, it is, affecting the world, the community, and the country that we live in. It's growing in the United States, and so we need to continue to pay attention to it and be aware of it. Okay. John Wilbur had a pretty cool article about drivers, recently in the CCJ. Riley, if you're on, if you can send a link, to that article. I thought I could do that here, and apparently I didn't do it right. But John, has been in the media for various topics a lot. Roadmaster Group in general, we've been asked to, give information and input and commentary on a lot of what's going on in trucking, the past, 6-8 months, in particular. And so, you've probably seen, quite a bit of, John and others, within the company. We're in the New York Times not too long ago, CCJ, Transport Topics, so forth. So there's a pretty cool article, with John, that you might find interesting. Kathy Walters is one of our owner-operators. She started with the R&R fleets in 2010, 2011, I think, she and Jeff. Has a pretty cool book. We've talked about it before or shared it before. If you have an opportunity to pick it up on Amazon, I think it's like $15 for the paperback and $10 for the Kindle version. In paperback, it just kind of, relates their story of how they got into trucking. And, it talks about the industry that we're in. I think it's a pretty cool pretty cool book, and it's a fairly easy read. And if you have any friends or family members that are looking to get into trucking, obviously you are individual or resource. But this book would be a great resource, for anybody considering coming into the industry, especially if they're a husband-wife team type situation. So check out that book. They're also going to be at a Mid America Truck Show doing a book signing with the Women in Trucking organization. So congratulations, Kathy and Jeff. It's a very cool accomplishment. Again, the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, just as a reminder, everybody, even our current drivers have to go in and register and go through the whole process. So if you haven't yet, take some time. I mean, it's going to take you probably 10 minutes, to do everything, but you can get it done and be done with. We're working on a process where, we're going to take everybody through it anyway, no matter what. So, any initiative that you're willing to take to, go and get it done, like I said, we got to do it anyway. So, any questions, comments? Let me look here real quick.
A lot of good mornings.
Yeah, a lot of good mornings. Yeah, good morning to everybody. Okay, I couldn't find a clip to it or anything, but all of you know Donnie Lester. Huge congratulations to Donnie Lester. He was just selected. I don't know if it's a vote or what the selection process is, but as the Missouri Safety Director of the Year. And so if you get a chance to see Donnie or reach out to Donnie, congratulate him on that honor. It's a tremendous honor, and it's well deserved. For those of you that know Donnie, for those of us that work with Donnie, he's probably one of the smartest, if not the smartest, safety director in the country. He's literally helped write the regulations, that the DOT uses, for haz waste and much of the freight that we haul. So congratulations to Donnie on that tremendous honor. Okay, let me flip to the next one here. So actually, let me go back to every year, our company drivers on their anniversary are entitled to a pretty significant bonus. And this is the second year that we've done the bonus program for the company drivers. And basically, they're getting 4 cents a mile for all miles that the truck runs, or all dispatch miles that the truck runs. So on average, for our team drivers, it's about 150,000 miles, give or take. The truck will run. So it's a $6,000 bonus per driver. And so for the team, it's often at 12,000. I think our highest last year is like 14,000. With the husband-wife team, type of thing. So it's a pretty significant, bonus that we're really proud to have. And in many ways, it's life-changing money. I think it'd be fun though to hear and understand what it is that you guys are doing with that money. I mean, if you're paying bills, I get it, but if you're taking trips, I know it seems like a lot of our drivers are going on cruises. Awesome. If you're taking dream vacations, if you're buying a house, buying a car, let us know. I mean, it'd be fun to share those kind of things and to be share. It's too much in trucking. We talk about problems and issues. We don't celebrate successes and wins, and I think something like this is a win, for all of our drivers. So we'd like to share that success with you. Let us know what it is that that you're doing with this bonus money, and maybe it's just for retirement. Great, but give some ideas. Riley gets great pictures. I mean, some of the pictures that we get, from you guys is just tremendous, and I hope you're seeing those pictures in our photo album, on Facebook and everything. But let us know about what you're doing with these fun bonuses as well. As part of that, we asked our company drivers to do about a 35-question survey. We just want better information. How are we doing as a company? And this is the best ways, for us to learn, to make adjustments, to change what we need to change. I mean, essentially, for everybody in the office, our drivers is the customer. So when we talk about the voice of the customer, you're the customer. And if you don't feel that, then we need to do better. If you're not being paid attention to, then we need to do better. One of the other things that we're asking everyone to help us with is a driver assessment, okay? And this is the link, if you want to do a driver assessment, it's anonymous. We don't, the results aren't shared. It's a third party, company, that's compiling this data and running it. And what we're doing with it is just getting a better idea of, okay, what does our current fleet look like so we can hire better, okay? I'm going to share, in the survey, and one of the comments in the survey is, hey, why do we hire the drivers that we do? And sometimes the answer is, well, because they're qualified on paper, but we don't know if they're a good fit for our culture. We don't know if they're a good fit for our freight. And so we're trying to be smarter in some of the decisions. And if you guys will help us do these driver assessments, it'll help us understand what our good drivers are and try to hire to those to your character and to your attributes and to your safety cognization and so and so forth. So yep.
Mike, you do have one question from Shelley Hornsby Higgins Leggett. In regards to the clearinghouse, do owner ops have to register as both driver and company owners?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't believe so. I don't recall a designation in there. I mean, I went through it. I don't recall a designation that you have to select either company driver or owner operator. I think it's just as a CDL holder. But as you go through the process, it should walk you through that. Teresa Porter in Joplin's kind of our clearinghouse expert, in that. So she might have a better answer, to that, and if there's a better answer, we'll get it to you. But thanks for that question, Shelley. Okay. Any other questions, Mr.?
That was the only one I saw.
All right. And Alan Edenberg, I'm looking at your comments. Your driver manager is awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Alan. I tell you, it's Tim Cox is Alan Edenberg's driver manager. And it is awesome for us to, listen, we all appreciate compliments and so forth. And Alan sent in a really nice note, about his driver manager, Tim. And Tim, was over the moon to get that recognition from one of his drivers. So we need to do a better job in the office of recognizing drivers. I promise you, Vonda and I are working on, on that right now. But if your driver managers are doing well, let us know that too, because we'll let them know. They're human as well. I mean, you guys have a tougher job. Every one of you have a tougher job. I mean, we go home every night. You don't. But sometimes it's nice for our driver managers or CSRs or whatever to feel appreciated as well. So Alan, thanks much, for giving that recognition to Tim Cox, and like I said, it was very well received, for sure. Okay. Veronica, thanks for your compliments to the Phoenix Yard, and we'll pass that on, for sure as well. George and his crew there take a lot of pride in what they do, just as Bruce and his crew in Joplin, do as well. So, okay, let me go to the survey. Okay. Well, I was just going through it here. I'm not going to go onto every slide. I think there's about 35 of them here, okay? But I'm just going to share. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. So if you have comments or questions, just jump in, okay? And I can go back to it or whatever, okay? In the month of February, we have 14 total responses, to the survey. Typically, it will be, 14 to 30, each month, that we get the results, these surveys, okay? The first question is just, how long you've been in the tri-state. It's, the vast, majority of taking the survey is 1 to 3 years. We had a few that are 3 to 5 years and a few over 5 years, on the survey. The first question is, tri-state treats me professionally, okay? We want real honest answers, okay? And hopefully the answer is 100%, or the responses are 100%. In this situation, it wasn't. 70% says, yeah, gave us 5 stars. I was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago for a conference, and the stars rating matters, right? And so I was looking for a place for a dessert, and there's a place that had a 4.9 star rating. I don't know anything about it, but they had 4.9 stars, so I went to that place, just had dessert, right? 70% is not a great rating for us, so this tells us, that there's something, that we're going on here where 30% of our tri-state drivers can't give us a 5-star, about, being treated professionally. And so we'll dig into those individual, concerns and issues and see what we can do to get 5 stars. Our overall rating was 4.5. That's on Yelp, that's a good rating. But I think we can do better. So we appreciate that those responses, the feedback, there. One of our favorite questions is, what's your top 2 favorite customer locations? Okay, and we get to similar, locations. A lot of them are DoD, DOE, facilities. One of the things that's really interesting is I know our drivers are often frustrated by, Clean Harbors, freight. But Braintree location, Clean Harbor, is consistently, one of the, our driver, favorite locations. So, Donnie and Don Welchoff and Andy and Wade, we're working very specifically with Clean Harbors in particular. They're a key customer for us. They're important to us. We're important to them. We have a good relationship, but we want to, get more, Clean Harbors facilities on our drivers' favorites, location. But I think that's a pretty cool question, that we ask. And then similarly, we ask the same thing. What's your least favorite locations? What are the places that, constantly give our drivers challenges and issues? Let us know those things, okay? Because like I said, Donnie and Don Welchoff and Wade and, others will go and work with those customers and says, hey, we consistently have concerns and problems and our drivers just don't like servicing, this area. Again, you're our customer, and we pass on your feedback, and concerns, to our literal customers, there. So, please keep giving us that information. Okay. What is this question here? Let me scroll up here. How many driver managers have you had in the past 12 months? Okay. Some things are unavoidable, especially if you're in your first year with us. You start out on the intro fleet, Jake and Brandon, and then you'll graduate, to the, I call it the big board, with Chris Howard, Christina Church's, fleets, there. And then as you get your clearance, and it's better for us if we have stability. So we're tracking. Okay, how often do we have our drivers change driver managers? I know it's often frustrating for you guys. My driver manager treats me professionally. Okay, and this is you would think that the responses would be similar to the question a few slides ago. Tri-State treats me professionally. Well, it's not, and sometimes it's better than the company average. Sometimes it's worse than the company average. But this lets us know individually, how we're doing. So you might be frustrated with the company, but feel like individually your driver manager is a great relationship, or vice versa. Okay, and that's the information that we get, on this. So we get a 4.71, on this month, and remember, as a company, we're 4.5. So our individual relationships with driver managers appear to be stronger, than they are with the company overall. So and which is a good thing. But again, we want to be higher there. It's we can't please everybody. I think Aaron Siegel, makes that observation. But I think we can do better than even a 4.7. Okay, Tri-State respects my home time request. This is huge, okay? And I just had a newer team call me yesterday and says, hey, my first home time, we were 4 days late, in getting home, there. That's not acceptable. I don't know what happened, there. I committed to getting into that, there. It should be 100%, okay? The 3 options to respond is yes, maybe some glitches, but generally good. The second response is generally yes, but sometimes there are issues. And then the third, response is no, hardly ever, make our home time. We take a lot of pride in this. At one point, we were like 80%, there. We're pretty consistently high 90s, 100%, on that. It's, home time, is important to, to each of you. I like going home at, each night. When we commit to getting you home, we need to honor that. If we are not, living up to that commitment, please let us know. I mean, it's you need to do better. Now, with that being said, I want to give you, a little coach here. If you've got a doctor appointment on Tuesday the 29th, okay, at 12 o'clock, I would recommend that you you get a hold of your DM or just do it yourself and make your home time request at least 24 to 48 hours before that period, right? Trucking, we can't hit times right on the dot, often as we'd like to, at a specific location, type of thing. So we ask that you give us a 24-hour buffer. So if you put in your home time request for noon, on Tuesday the 28th, it may be Wednesday, before we get you home, okay? But we should be communicating that to you. Say, hey, you got your home time for 28th at 12. We've got this, we got this, we got this. I think I'm gonna get you home Wednesday morning. Are you okay with that? And it should be a two-way dialogue, on that. If you're not okay with that, then make sure we know, hey, I've got to be home this certain time. But like I said, it'll serve you well if you put your home time request at least 24 hours before, you actually have to be there if you've got a firm time there. So, okay, my driver manager is responsive to my concerns and needs, okay? And I like this. I mean, we're 85%, there. Again, 15%, we need to bridge that, do better there, but this goes part and parcel with respect, and so forth, okay? So it seems like our individual relationships are good. We don't have any 1 or 2 stars. We have one driver that gave us a 3-star, one driver gave us a 4-star. So the vast majority that responded to this, said, hey, we're doing pretty well on that, so again, keep giving us feedback, there. What number do you call to contact Tri-States? I mean, there's always a lot of confusion about who to call, and some of you have direct numbers and some don't. The easiest and the safest number is the 877-860-1600 number, okay? And, again, if you have any questions about that, let us know. Good. When I call Tri-State, my expectations are to speak directly with my driver manager only, to speak to any live person, or it doesn't matter so long as my question is answered, okay? And this is, I know it's frustrating. I mean, it's, when you call in and you can't, get the person you're looking for or an answer that you're looking for, and so this is, we're constantly trying to understand what our drivers expect from us, as they come in. So should we make it so for like the driver managers, that if you, call into a driver manager pool and any driver manager can pick up, type of thing, or should it only be your specific, driver manager? Same with CSRs, type of thing, and so this information lets us know what your expectations, are of us. When leaving a voicemail, I'm okay with the response within 15 minutes is the general expectation. Second is 35 minutes, and so again, it just lets us know what is your expectations when you leave a voicemail. What is your expectations of our response time? There. It's always interesting to me. Nobody says 45 minutes. So it's like, man, if you can't get with me in the first 15 minutes, just wait an hour. Apparently, is the preferred method there. So, my DM typically responds to Qualcomm messages within 5 minutes. Almost 60% of the times within 5 minutes. 35% within 15 minutes. I think we can agree that 15 minutes is a reasonable amount of time, for a response. If you don't agree with that, let us know, okay? Anyway, it's Rebecca. I'm gonna respond to you in just a second here, okay? So 15 minutes feels fair to me, but if you feel like, hey, wait a second, no, 10 minutes or 5 minutes is let us know that, okay? 60 minutes is not okay, so whoever, especially, Qualcomm, I mean, we keep asking, use Qualcomm. Well, our part of that agreement is to respond quickly, to that Qualcomm. Generally, we're doing pretty well on that. I mean, basically 5%, said we're responding within 15 minutes, and so I think we're generally okay with that. I just saw a comment from Rebecca. Yeah. So, Rebecca, I'm responding because I don't want to ignore comments that are made and everything. I will say this: there are some forums that is appropriate to address certain concerns, and some forums that are not. And the other thing I can say is we're not always going to agree. I mean, Tim and I, have been working together almost 2 years. We don't always agree. John Wilbur, and I can tell you that we've had some pretty strong conversations where we don't always agree. Same with my boss Russ Thompson. It's we don't always agree. And that doesn't mean that you're not heard. That doesn't mean that in consideration of decisions made that your input wasn't considered there. But it sometimes just means that we can't agree, but it doesn't mean that you're not heard. And so, like I said, it's this forum is not the best forum for I've got this issue with my CSR and why is that type of thing. Get a hold of Vonda directly, type of thing. Get a hold of CSR directly, type of thing. But like I said, it's our customers sometimes will call and say, hey, your driver, did this or whatever. We're going to defend, our drivers first, there. And a lot of times our customers don't like that and say, well, you're not hearing us. No, we hear you. Okay, but there's two sides to the story there, or this is from the driver perspective, and this is how we have to do, whatever the process is. And so it's Rebecca, you are valued, and but in that doesn't mean that we're always going to agree, unfortunately. So okay. My driver manager is a good leader, okay? And again, you see a lot of driver manager related questions in this because, that's where the most relationships are, between our drivers, and our driver managers, there. How satisfied with your with after hours dispatch? There. A 4 rating, and again, we talked about, in the Yelp world, 4 is not bad, but there's room for improvement, and so the comments that you give helps us with those, there. We've made changes to our after hours department, there, and we've beefed it up, and, there's still training, going on, and so forth in there, but it tells us where room for improvement is, How satisfied are you with the breakdown department? 4.9. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, 4.93. And some months it's worse. The breakdown and safety tends to be the two departments that get in after hours and get beat up the most, type of thing. But we appreciate hearing the positive feedback as well. Like we talked about, there. Satisfied with the human resources, 4.86. Human resources tends to be a safety. It's either good and we're helping, or they're responding to something that's not good, and so they can be some conflict there. Health insurance programs, 3.86, and so this was consistently a subpar rating for us there. And so as all of our company drivers know, effective January 1, we completely changed our insurance carrier. You were heard. You're the customer. It says our insurance program is frustrating. Our health insurance is, frustrating. We went to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, and I think generally, the responses are improving, on that. But again, it's your feedback that helps drive, some of this. Now, back to kind of Rebecca's thing, some of you love Lucent, and so because we made the change doesn't mean that we're ignoring, what you prefer, Lucent, but sometimes, it's a binary decision, there, and but generally we feel confident that, that our new health provider is being better received and servicing, me and you and our drivers better, so. That's satisfying to the payroll department. Payroll department is always very popular, 4.79, there, okay. Safety department, again, 4.086, and it's, a lot of times safety department have to have tough conversations, so, so 4.8 rating, is pretty strong, for them. The CSR department 3.93, and that's the other department, that gets beat up a lot. Again, your feedback helps us understand, the areas and room, for improvement. But there are also other things, that are there that, we need to do a better job of communicating, to our drivers of why things are an issue, or whatever. Sometimes it's not always in the CSR's control or whatever, but we need to do a better job of communicating, explaining that is the case, there. How satisfied are you with your miles each week? Okay, we need to do better on miles. We need to be more efficient. That gives more money to your pocket. And everything. So 4.2 is not a strong rating there. And so helps our planning and operation. Systems understand that hey, our drivers want to do more. And so we need to figure out how to provide more there. In the coming months, you'll hear more news about some, pretty cool things that we're working on, to help that utilization and efficiency as well. How satisfied are you with your truck? 4.43, okay. This tends to go part and parcel. If you're in a newer truck, you love it. If you're in an older truck, you hate it, but these comments, helps us understand, what features, we need to have in our truck, which features are useless, and so forth. I mean, it's, keep giving us that information, please. Part of this is what is your preferred truck brand? And here's what's interesting. I mean, it's, for those of you who've been in trucking for a long time, it used to be that Peterbilt and KW were the prestigious brands, right? But Peterbilt, 14%. I mean, it's out of 6 brands, it's in 5th place, there. And so it's interesting. I mean, you guys understand, the brands and who's doing well. Right now, Freightliner, Volvo, and Peterbilt are the top 3, and that's pretty consistent top 3. As we do these surveys, it used to be that experienced drivers wouldn't touch a Freightliner. Even as soon as 3 years ago. But we're able to give this information and this feedback, to our dealers and to our truck manufacturers as well. And says, hey, this is what our drivers prefer and why, type of thing. So anyway, keep giving us this information. Tri-state values my work. Okay, I'm bothered by this. It's a 4.3, not bad for Yelp. Again, it's not bad, type of thing. But there's 35% of you feel like that you're not valued, and your work is not valued. We need to do a better job on that, and we're working on that. Once again, like I said, Vonda and I are specifically working on those kind of programs. I've got about 3 more here I want to share with you. Your preferred fuel stop provider, Love's, is consistently is the #1. I think they still have the best rewards program, so they remain our preferred fuel vendor as well. I know who to talk to if I have concerns and frustrations that aren't being resolved. I want to spend a couple of minutes here. Most of you do. 85% said yes, you do. I've been told that I'm only permitted to talk to dispatch and the driver ambassador, and if they can't resolve the issue, it won't be resolved. That's not accurate. Whoever told this driver this that's not accurate information. We are going to ask that you go through the proper processes. Your DM, but your DM has a manager, a supervisor. Christina Church in Joplin, Chris Howard, in Phoenix. They've got managers, Vonda and Wade, oversee all of operations. You're allowed to go to any of those resources necessary, to resolve, the challenges that you have. I mean, Jeanette is always available to you. I'm available to you. It's whoever would tell you that, your DM and Jeanette are the only resource you have, that's not accurate. I mean, it's, John Wilbur has said many times, send him a message directly, if you need to. So we do not have a, policy of limiting, any employee, any driver, from reaching out to whatever resource they need, to get resolution for a concern. In the last month, how many times have you thought about leaving the company? This tells us how frustrated our drivers are with us. I'd like to see us in the high 90s, 100%. Okay, but 2 of our drivers said, they've thought about leaving, several times. So again, that's a concern. You know, I mean, 2 out of 15. I mean, that's 1% or whatever, or I'm sorry, 10% or 11%, whatever that is. That's still not that's too high. And so give us that specific feedback. All I know is this. In the driver industry, drivers leave. Doesn't hurt my paycheck, doesn't hurt Tim's paycheck, okay? I mean, the companies are affected by that, but it affects your paycheck. So, oftentimes our driver turnover, is emotion-based, and I get it, it can be very frustrating in your role, and everything, but before you leave, I just ask, reach out to me, reach out to JD, reach out to your recruiter. Most of the time, we're able to get resolution, for you. But but if you leave without going to others, we can't fix it for you, okay? But we understand that that it's not the advantage that Tim has is if he's frustrated with something, he can walk 20 paces down into my office and I can resolve it with him, or we can at least discuss it. You guys don't have that luxury. You guys don't have that advantage, and I don't know how to always fix that, for you, except to just be more available, have more resources available, to each of you, but that's our challenge. Okay, what are the top reasons if you were going to leave Tri-State? What are your top reasons? Home time, compensation, not treated with respect. It's they're. The others, JD, when she gets these surveys, dig into. So please, again, keep giving us those information, there, okay? Would you refer your friends or family to work for Tri-State? You're 93%, whatever. I mean, that tells us, hey, if you're not satisfied here, you're not going to refer your friends and family to work, with us, and so that gives us an indication again of satisfaction levels, overall. Okay. Anyway, that's the survey that we send out, to all of our company drivers, once a year. The bonus. Any owner or operator who would like to take the survey, let us know. We're happy to send it to you, and we're going to ask all of our owner operators, to do it. I think we did one time last year too, but we're going to, continue to ask you to just give us that data, give us that information. So, any other questions, comments?
No, we had Rebecca had a question again, but I think for the most part, a lot of the drivers and Tri-State Trucking had answered those questions. Yeah. Rebecca, I hope that question was answered for you.
Okay, great. And again, I mean, it's one of the great strengths of it's our drivers are so willing to help other drivers, and I think that is a indication of some pretty cool positive culture there. Rebecca, again, we're not perfect, okay? Are we better this year than we were a year ago? I think so. Are we better? We've gone through, various mergers, Tri-State, SLT, R&R. I mean, it's, do we take a step backwards sometimes? Yep, we do, but we work really hard to make up those steps and take a couple of 3 steps forward, it's, I see Alan Edenburn, on here. And I can tell you, I mean, it's, there's a point that Alan was with us before and left because he's frustrated with some things. And he came back and I think he's found his experience to be different and better, this time. So it's, we're not great all the time. We're great a lot of times, okay? I mean, Donnie Lester was great, was recognized, for his greatness. Our driver managers many times are great. Sometimes they're not, okay? And they'll have a bad day or a bad moment or bad, type of thing. They're human as well. But I can tell you that passion is high and commitment is high, and our commitment to continue to improve is high. So, any other comments or thoughts or anything like that?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And then I think we're on again for 2 weeks. We're trying to get Frank Lawrence to come back because we've got some new trucks and new equipment, and he's going to be doing a special Facebook Live at some point to kind of go through all the features of the new trucks and everything. But appreciate everybody. Thanks. Have a great weekend and be safe. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.